Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition of the WardiTV Monday, the WardiTV Monday number 74, your weekly dose of open StarCraft. I'm of course just VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. We've returned with our weekly dose of WardiTV action, and again, we're still in the midst of catching on up. I know there's always people tuning in, curious as to why we're now covering this via replays. The reasoning for that is, of course, due to daylight savings, but I believe daylight savings is going to be hitting, or is going to be reverting back in Europe, I want to say at the end of March, and when that happens, we should be able to cover the WardiTV Mondays live once again. We'll get there, we'll get there. For now, they're going to be catching up via replays, and we have our first series, our first matchup. For those that are curious, this is a weekly tournament that is open to all players. It is similar to the Sparkling Tunic Cup, or to the PvZ Cup, or WardiTV Monday. Of course, it is going to be at its own time slot, its own time slot available, of course, and we have players from all around the world competing. Let's go. Let us go. Our first series here is going to be a best of 3 between Classic and SHIN. We're jumping into the quarterfinals, jumping into our PvZ. Let's go. Let us go. We are going to be getting into this. Oh. And this morning in the top right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Blue Zerg. Well, currently teamless. It is SHIN. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Protoss Pro. It is Classic. Here we go, and it's great to see SHIN once again. SHIN, he's not the most active of players nowadays. He does not compete in as many events as, say, a Solar or a Hero or a Beyond, for example. So always do appreciate whenever we get to feature SHIN here and now. And we'll see how he's been approaching this matchup. SHIN has been a lot more exploratory as of late, is what I will say. If you missed it, I do highly recommend checking out the VODs of Sparkling Tunic Cup this week. We had SHIN versus Percival in the finals. SHIN, he was able to showcase a wide array of builds throughout the course of the event, and he was an animal. He was an absolute animal. Part of it didn't even really make much sense either. It was crazy. It was a crazy night of StarCraft. SHIN, and I'm curious to see how he does approach Classic here as well. SHIN, he's often very fond of going for proxy hatcheries, but there's no proxy hatch this time out of SHIN, at least not here in game 1. Would not be surprised if we see it in game 2 or even a game 3. For now, everything's looking as it should. Hatch gas pools, standard opener out of our Zerg player. Likewise, get expand out of Classic as well. Coming into this Classic, he is renowned, of course, for his late game PvZ, and he has the best late game PvZ in the world. If he can get there, that's where he does thrive. But what is most scary about Classic is the fact that he can be aggressive early on as well. We can see early Twilight Councils, Glaive Adepts, charge-based openers have been very trendy as of late as well. Classic is even very fond of rushing into Tempests and rushing into Carrier if the opportunity does present itself. Classic is willing to cut corners and be a little bit more diverse in its own play. So we'll see how SHIN reacts, or how he tries to force Classic to react instead. We shall see. For the time being, we're just going to be opening up. We should be seeing a Stargate open out of Classic. The pylon is placed a little bit further towards the edge of the main base. Typically, if it's a Twilight Council or a hidden tech structure, it would be behind the main, or in between the bases. It would be a little bit further back. So we're leading towards Stargate. Stargate has been thrown down. We're settling in. Also, welcome to Ruby Rock. Welcome one and all to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is one of the smaller maps of the map pool. Shorter rush distance by ground. Aggression is going to be favored here, and we'll see how exactly aggressive we are planning on being, if at all. In my mind, SHIN is going to be all in at some point, whether it's a 3 base all in or 2.5 base all in. And I do expect aggression out of SHIN, as we don't often want to try to get into a longer and later game, at least not in this matchup, especially on this map as well. So we'll keep an eye on the tech, whether we go into an early Roach Horn, into an earlier Lair, into an early Evo Chamber. We'll see. Shall see. As we're soon getting into our tech structures. Shading to set main. Back at home, it's going to be Oracle first, not Void Ray. Void Ray would be to deny vision, deny scouting, and hunt down the Overlords and make it difficult for SHIN to figure out what was going on. But here, just opening up Oracle, and honestly, it's just a really secure way to open up in this matchup. It's a reason why it's the go-to. The Oracle is amazing at scouting, at harassing, at dealing with link roundbuys, dealing with link counterattacks, defending back at home, having the utility of Revelations, of Stasis Traps as well. It's honestly a really well-rounded unit, and it does allow Protoss players to open up, to scout, and to securely claim their third base. So we should be seeing a triple Oracle opener out of Classic. Oracles are moving out. Unfortunately, because it's so well-rounded, it does kind of stifle out many of the other diverse builds. We do still see like Twilight Counts openers and Robo openers mixed in every now and then, but they're rarer, right? They're fewer and farther between. As the Oracle does poke out. Gets has some saturation, takes down the tumor so far. Second Oracle has arrived to defend the third, and we also have a third Oracle on the way. So just opening up triple Oracle, everything's looking normal so far. SHIN opted not to go for the early Evo chamber. True, there's no early chamber, there's no early Roach Warren. It's looking a little bit more like layer first. Oh, it does catch some transferring drones. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drones going. Oh god, 6 drones going to 7. Oh no, that's so unfortunate here. So unfortunate for SHIN as he was just mid-transfer. Workers were on the way to get to the third base. 9 drones go down. 1 Oracle falls, but hey, there's still another one back at home. That was perfectly worth it here. I mean, ideally, you want to keep the Oracles alive. They do have more value over time, but that is still brutal damage. 9 drones at the start of the game. Ay. That should not be happening. That should not be happening. And with that, SHIN, he's going to have to commit. He is redroning as we speak and getting a Roach Warren, but I will not be surprised if he does cut workers at 3 bases and he commits because he's fallen quite far behind. You should not be losing 9 workers this early on. We're expecting like 3, maybe 4 at the most. Speaking of, we're still not yet done. Oh my god. Getting 1 more drone. And 1 more drone does go down. And behind this we have our standard follow-up here, Blink +1, Gateway Explosion, getting into 6 gateways back at home. From here we can start to fully saturate the third base. Ahead of some moving outs. And things are looking dire here for SHIN. I wouldn't even be opposed to an 8 gate, to be honest. And we're getting up to 7. Yes, 7 gateways back at home, extra gateways are thrown down. And it would make sense because... I'm dying. But because Classic is so far ahead, going for an 8k 3-base all-in would make a lot of sense here. What is that? No gases. We shouldn't be seeing any gases at the third base. We should be seeing a proxy gateway across the map. Yep, there it is. Speaking of it, there's our proxy gateway. It is going to be an 8k. It is going to be an all-in. Basically, Classic, because he's so far ahead, because he just killed 10 drones, he's going to be capitalizing on that, and he's going to be just going for the kill, just to kill his opponent for falling so far behind. This should be a very difficult defense here for SHIN. Alas, he may be able to force some mistakes. He does surround 2 adepts, so nice little pickoffs here and there. He can maybe harass, backstab, counterattack. Thankfully for SHIN, he isn't droning. There's no way he could, right? But he's not droning up. He's massing up nothing but Ling Hydra. Lings are moving out across the map, and they will hopefully buy some time. Yeah, you can see SHIN is trying to distract, trying to buy time. Does go for the backstab. The wall is open. Okay, Lings they flood in. They flood into the main base, they flood into the natural. Probes are going to be going down. The Oracles have to race back home to defend. At the same time, Stalkers are moving in. Yes, Stalkers are pushing forward. And we're getting a little bit messy here, and across the map, only 2 probe kills. Yeah, the Lings, they do nothing. Classic focusing on the main assaults. Does blink well. Hydras are exposed. Da-da! Hydras are good, but they need some kind of buffer here. Oof. Yeah, losing 2 more Hydras. Back at home, Lings are still wreaking havoc. They get 2 more probe kills, 4 probes in total. Still not good enough. Still needs more damage. Needs more damage back. And Classic just picking this army apart. Again, there's just not much here. SHIN cannot produce as much as his resources were stifled, as he lost 10 drones earlier on. And Classic is here to end the game. He's here to end the game. Again, only a handful of Zerglings. And once the Hydra start going down, it's going to very quickly snowball out of control. Yo, we got the Slowlots. Let's go. Slowlots are waddling in. They're diving on the Queens, diving on the Hydras. Boys are being pulled. SHIN is getting desperate. We have the Oracles to help shut this down. And with that Classic, he has broken the third base. He has broken SHIN. SHIN down to 3 Hydras. Down to 2. Down to 1. GG gets called, and Classic takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Classic takes the lead in the series. Again, just a very rough early game there by SHIN, losing 10 workers early on. That was critical damage. You cannot afford to lose that many workers. Not at this level of play. Typically, we're expecting like 3 drone kills at most, like 3 workers. That's kind of what we're seeing as acceptable losses. But to lose up to 10 workers, that is crazy. That's why Classic did adjust and then went into a 3-base all-in to capitalize on his advantage, to make sure that SHIN, when it was crippled, could not stand back up. GG. GG, well played. With that classic taste lead in the series, and now we're going to be loading into game number 2. Let's go. Going to be loading into game 2 here, going to be loading into the Old Republic, and hopefully Shin can tighten up his early game defenses. And again, it was just really unfortunate. If you recall, he was just transferring, right? He was transferring workers, he was making workers that were being sent over towards the third base, and just at that moment is when the Oracles came in and they found all these drones exposed. Because they were mid-rotation, mid-transfer, they were out of range of any spores, they were out of range of any queens, and we saw the Oracles just go to town. So just very unfortunate timing there for Shin. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic. We have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Shin. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss. The Red Protoss representing Team Virtus Pro. It is a classic. Here we go. So we are going to be opening up. Shin going for a hatch gas pool, standard opener, as a probe is sent across the map. Here we go. But again, it's one of those things where in StarCraft, it can sometimes go by a little bit unnoticed, but losing that many workers that quickly, that early on, is crippling just because you have so little workers to begin with, right? The earlier you're losing workers, the more impactful it is to a game, and the more difficult it is to recover from those losses. Losing 10, 12, 13 workers, you know, when you have 6 bases up and running and you have a bank in a later game, you know, 15, 20 minutes in, doesn't matter as much as losing that early on in the first 5 minutes. So early on here is when we have to tighten up, we have to be on point, keep up with the Oracles, preserve your workers, babysit them. There we go. Here we go. So now we're going to be settling in. Once again, we'll keep an eye on the pylon placements, we'll keep an eye on the tech of choice, and we'll see how Classic does open up. Again, Classic didn't really do anything special last game. It was just standard opener into a punish, into an all-in, just to take advantage of the situation. Shin instead, he was attempting to go into, I mean, he had a safety roach one into Ling Hydra, but it was Ling Hydra off of no Evo chamber and a lack of upgrades, so it was just a really awkward mid-game. But again, it was awkward because of the early game as well, so we'll see if Shin can get comfortable coming into game 2. Can he get comfortable? Este pecueta. Ay, ay, ay. Sí, papi, sí. So now Classic is going to be shading across. Back at home, Stargate opener. Stargate into Oracle, most likely. Classic could mix it up. Doesn't really have much of a reason to mix it up, but we'll keep an eye on him. Yeah, there we go. Oracle's on the way. And for now, we just have our back and forth here. It's on Shin to keep up with the Adept, to make sure there is no shade. A second Adept is on the way. 2 Adepts, they can one-shot drones. They can and they will one-shot. So Shin has to take this that much more seriously. Does have to keep up. Bearing in mind as well, if Classic does lose these Adepts, that does mean that his third base is going to be vulnerable. It's going to be exposed, and he may even be forced to cancel. So he will shade back. Shades back home, racing back to the safety of his third base. Oracle's now moving out. And hopefully Shin does not lose 10 drones this time. Let's go. So now the Oracle gets eyes on the third. Spore's ready in the main. Spore gets thrown down to the natural. And so far so good. Second Oracle is on route. Is making its way across. And so far, no major losses here. This time the transfer is protected, thankfully. Yeah, the transfer is saved. The Oracle does take a little hull damage. Oh my god, the first Oracle goes down. SHIN does shut him down. A couple of drones will fall, but not many. Only 2 worker kills, and so far a much stronger defense here from SHIN, catching an Oracle, and this time it was not worth it for the Protoss player. 1 Oracle for 2 drones is not worth it whatsoever. That's a brutal loss, and that does mean that the third base and overall map control and vision for Classic is going to be stifled. It's going to be less vision, less scouting, less harassment, less support for the ground army. Now, if you were casting Hero, for example, which, I mean, it does happen to him from time to time, if you lose the first Oracle, Hero, he's one to replace it, right? He does replace it immediately. He's not afraid to do so. He's understanding of the potential of the Oracle. Hero Classic doesn't. So he's going to be sticking with 2, which can be a little bit risky. Oh, but he's going for a much more aggressive timing here. We have extra gateways. We have an earlier Twilight Council, Forge, +1, and Charge this time instead. Classic is going to be much more aggressive. I mean, I say much more aggressive. Last game he did go into an all-in. That is true, but this will hit quite hard as well, in its own way. No blink, but Charge. Oh, and do you see what I see? Eva Chamber. So Eva Chamber means +1 melee. It typically means Ling Hydra. Speaking of, we have confirmation it is going to be Ling Hydra, and I'm concerned. What does this mean? This means no Roach Warren. Oh, my apologies. +1 range into Hydras. What this means is no Roach Warren. This also means there's no Baneliness either. We're going for a very Hydra heavy composition as the Queen does barely get away. Oh, he wants it. No. Oh, he gets punished for it as well. Classic gets baited into chasing the Queen. Classic losing a second Oracle also quite carelessly here. Yeah, Classic may be overconfident after the first game, but losing 2 Oracles so quickly. Brutal losses for the Protoss. Zealots are revealed, he knows. Yeah, Zealots are revealed, High Templar as well. SHIN, he does need a Baneling Nest. Actually, he's just rushing. Yeah, he's just rushing across the map. He's trying to get this around. There's the NG overcharge. And now he knows he's up against Archons, Zealots, and Storm. So big scuff for SHIN. Again, going pure Ling Hydra against this can be very difficult to achieve. We'll see if SHIN does take up, or if he commits. Not gonna lie, I have to recenter myself because this morning we were casting the patch showdown. Oh, which is taking up, Jesus. We were casting the patch showdown, and units were working very differently there because I was played on a mod. So I gotta calm down, lock in. I was thinking of Storm in a very different way. But High Templar are amassing, second robe is on the way, going to massive mortal production, and SHIN is all in. I say all in, SHIN, he is running up to 77, so he does have up to almost 4 base saturation, that is true, but he is hyper committed here. SHIN, he chose not to get a Baneling Nest, that is a risky decision. He's going pure Ling Hydra, he's about to max out, he's going for a massive Doom Drop as well in towards the main. He's going for the Doom Drop, and we'll see if Classic can survive this. So far, it's throwing down a wall of cannons, shield batteries. Storm is done, bear that in mind. Here comes the Hydra drop. And the reason why I say this is more or less an all-in is because SHIN, he isn't teching, right? There's no infestation pit. Oh, speaking of, just as I say that, now throws it down. Now he's thinking further ahead. And he gets scouted. Does get scouted. But now with the pits, now he has access to the Hive and also Lurker Tech as well. So SHIN should be taking a 4th expansion as he is thinking about a longer and later game, in case he fails to kill. So we have a double Ling drop on the right hand side, a quad Hydra drop in towards the main. Exactly. 4.5 Overlords, let's go. Does make his way in. Cannons in position though. Classic, he defends his natural quite well, but the main base is exposed. There's reactive warp in, the main army does push forward, Storm does land. Oof, yeah, the Storms on the Hydras, brutal connections. Hydras have to pull away, likewise Storm in the main base as well. Does snipe one of the High Templar. And 1 Templar goes down, and Immortals do move in. Lings are coming from behind, they get a surround on the Immortal, very nice surround. And SHIN, he's breaking through. Yeah, he's breaking through in the main base, dealing critical damage. At the same time, the main army is achieving a little bit less success as more Storms are coming in. Yeah, more Storms push forward. Flanking the Hydras. Again, it's the main base where damage was done. 14 probe kills. But Classic holds. Classic is holding on. Did sustain some heavy losses. Shin back at home, he's taking up. Hive is now on the way. Lurker Den is on the way. Still no 5th expansion, which is a little bit concerning. Classic is recovering. What's scary here is that Classic did lose a bunch of workers in the main base, but he did retain his army, right? The High Templar, most of the Archons, most of the Immortals, not all, as that was 2 Immortals going down. But for the most part, Classic, he retained his army, and what are we going for? Sky Toss. Second Stargate, Fleet Beacon. Classic is turtling up, getting into triple Tempest production. Oh boy. Now, the scary thing here is if Shin is going to rest on his laurels. Like, we're taking him into a Hive, into a Lurker Den. If he waits for these upgrades and if he morphs in Lurkers, by the time he does, then Skytoss will be getting up and running. So Shin is on a bit of a timer. Overseer fails to scout. Doesn't quite confirm. Oh, contaminates the gateway, I guess. True. As drop lords are spotted. Takes down the Phoenix. Okay, looks like we're pushing with layer tech lurkers. Not bad. I do appreciate that Shin is being more aggressive earlier. And we'll see what he can get done. And breaking a turtling Protoss is not going to be easy. Jeez, that's it. Oh, Stasis goes off, catching out two of the lurkers. Yeah, 2 lurkers get called out. At the same time, we do have Lings pushing on the right-hand side, starting on the left. Yeah, Lings are dealt with. And now Classic can focus on the main push. Stasis Trap is about to run out. Lurkers, that's not even more lurkers morphing in. Geez, 10 more on the way. Tempests are revealed, and it looks too little too late. Yeah, Lurkers are trying to push forward, but now we have plenty of Immortals, plenty of Storms. Tempests have arrived. Free damage on the Lurkers. That's already a heavy Immortal count as well. Lurkers that can maybe trade with the 4th expansion. Tempest, I should be a little bit more cavalier here. There we go. Yeah, Tempest pushing forward. Class is just going for the base trade, going for the counterattack. Tempest will defend, and we have the main army pushing out across the map. Yeah, there's a detection. Every lurker is going to fall. Back at home, do we have any defensive lurkers? The answer is no. There's nothing back at home. Classic, it just moves out across the map. We have, oh, never mind, we have some lurkers coming in. Yeah, some lurkers did race back. Oh, 1, 2, 3. High Templar go down. Nice pickups, but honestly, Classic can just go up the ramp. You can just go up the ramp instead. Lurkers repositioning. Yeah, they do try to reposition here. The Lurker expansion went down. Classic does take the supply lead. Tempests are coming. Just has to wait. Here they come. The Tempest. The Tempest has arrived. We have the Sky Toss. The Lurkers are falling one after the other. Nice split with the High Templar. And Shin is being overwhelmed. He's being overwhelmed. He's being overrun. Again, he failed to kill Classic pre-Sky Toss. He couldn't do it. He tried. He could not break the Protoss. The Sky Toss is here. The Mothership as well. Oh my, massive storm. And she just can't engage. She just cannot engage. Oof. Storm's able to bully him back. Shin down to 1 lurker. Oh my god. Another storm. There's a cloak. No detection. Yeah, 0 detection here from Shin. A massive storm on the army. Everything melts. And with that, Classic is done. He breaks on through. GG gets called, and Classic takes a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. GG, well played. Does claim the series. Does advance on. Again, I was covering best of 5s this morning. But GG, well played. Classic will claim the series 2-0. Shin, he almost forced the ace match. He did have potential here in game number 2. He had such a strong start. Remember, he called both Oracles. He killed both Oracles at the start of the game. He was doing well for himself. He had gained map control, and he did decide to commit here on 4 bases. If you recall, his 5th base was very late. His further tech was very late. He was very committed with laying Hydra. And the problem is that he didn't do enough damage. He killed 14 probes. He killed 2 Immortals. portals, he killed 3 High Templar, but he didn't do any critical damage. The 4-base setup of the Protoss was still secure. That is all you need to get into Skytoss. That's all you need to facilitate 4 Skytoss to build up in into those Tempests. We saw that SHIN was trying to break Classic before Tempest with his Lurkers, but he got caught by a stasis trap and he could not get on top of the bases. He could not push on through. He failed to break through before Skytoss. GG. GG, well played. With that, congratulations to Classic, as it does claim the series, and it does advance on to the semi-finals. Let's go. Let us go. And in said semis, we have our next pairing of players here. It's going to be a PvP between Classic and MaxPax. Let's go. They're going to be facing off on Winter Madness.